Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Our big focus this hour. Lance Gooden, a Republican lawmaker from the United States state of Texas, has slammed the Joe Biden administration's probe of senior Adani Group officials. In a letter to U.S. Attorney General Merrick B. Garland, the congressman has stated that this move could derail U.S. India ties and America's economic growth. He has emphasized that the Department of Justice's selective actions risk damaging the critical alliance. India is, of course, one of America's strongest allies in the Asia-Pacific region. He has thus emphasized that the DOJ should not go after those who contribute to America's economic growth, as it discourages investors. Instead of pursuing cases with tenuous jurisdiction and limited relevance to U.S. interests, Congressman Gooden has suggested that the U.S. Department of Justice should focus on punishing bad actors on U.S. soil. He's pointed out threats from violent crime, economic espionage and CCP influence loom large. That's not all. Gooden has also highlighted the timing of the indictment against Adani. He stated that these decisions coincide with the end of the Biden administration and thus concerns arise that the true goal is disruption for President Trump. Well, this is, of course, a big statement being made, of course, by Lance Gooden. Let me bring in Ambassador Bhashwati Mukherjee, former diplomat, onto the broadcast for her first comment on this. This is a big statement by U.S. Congressman. What do you read into it, Ambassador Mukherjee?
Well, I read into it a clear warning to the outgoing Biden administration that the Department of Justice should understand that just have a few days left before Biden hands over to Trump. And under those circumstances, they should stop, as he has himself written in his letter, they should stop actions which could cast a long shadow on the India-US strategic partnership, on the strength of the business and economic ties, and also this kind of selective going after certain individuals in this manner, which would give the impression that the US deep state, which Trump has promised to finish off, is trying to complete its agenda before leaving. Because all this is part of the deep state plot, whether it's going after Adani, whether it's trying to bring about regime change before our elections, if we talk about regime change in Bangladesh, and many other things. It's clear that the US deep state wants to keep India weak and trapped in its neighborhood so that it doesn't rise and become a threat as China has become. That is the agenda of the deep state. And I think that this letter is a clear warning that you are on your last few days. Focus in your last few days on domestic threats and understand that whatever you do can be reversed and will be reversed by the administration of President Trump. So I think it was much required, and certainly as a diplomat, I greatly welcome this letter.
Let me in fact also quickly join Dr. Sharat Kohli into the broadcast now, senior economist. Dr. Kohli, big warning being made by one of their own. How will the US react to it? Will they pay heed? Is the big question, Dr. Kohli.
Well, a very good comment from Mr. Gooden. First of all, I think he's coming true to his name as far as the comment is concerned, because I remember doing several shows on your channel when the Department of Justice had given those observations and comments about the Adani Group, about corruption and so on and so forth. And we were spotting it from the base, from the root, that they had no substance in them. And I'm glad the stand has been vindicated by a congressman, by a Republican. This also shows the divide between the mindset, the thought process of the Republicans and the Democrats. And the fact that in New York, the Democrats won, Republicans lost. So this was looking like a clear agenda. And a very important aspect, Uday, is that just before first of all, I've been commenting on this, that the whole system of this American democracy, when a president-elect has to wait for more than 2 months to be in office, I think this itself is a big anomaly as per me, because it gives a lot of chance for the outgoing administration to do mischief of this sort. And the biggest mischief, I feel, apart from the Adani, which was a direct target on India, the biggest mischief was allowing President Zelensky to use missiles on Russia and then forcing Russia to change its nuclear doctrine. I mean, this provocation could have easily led to, although I won't say that the dangers are over, but this could have easily led to pushing the world into Third World War, pushing the world into a nuclear war, which could have been devastating. So I felt that was the biggest irresponsible step taken by the outgoing administration. And as far as comment is concerned, I think America has a lot of problems. He's rightly pointed out. They have a lot of problems domestically to look into. The gun problem. They have a problem with the Chinese interference. He pointed about the CCP interference in the American economy. They have a problem of their own economy. Look at the debt. $36 trillion is the debt of the American economy. They are adding about $1 trillion every 12 to 18 months. I've been watching it for the last 7-8 years. They add about $1 trillion, which is a lot of money. Their GDP is 26, $27 trillion. So they should be worried about that. Their debt over the GDP has gone 1.4 times almost. So they should be worried about that rather than commenting about a person, a businessman who's coming in their country. Mr. Putin rightly said, he's coming into their country, making investments, trying to do business with the country, legitimate business with the country. And you're trying to make these comments that you're probably passing a verdict that we are going to launch a corruption investigation, as if Adani is sitting in America. They had no locus standi, first of all. So it was wasted time. It was a clear indication. And the final nail in the coffin came when I saw George Soros being given the honor of freedom. If they can call on stage and he can turn his back to President Biden or his representation, and nicely a medal is tied on the neck, that George Soros becomes the hero, a medal winner in that country. So that itself shows the mindset. I am perplexed and I'm startled by the mindset that Democrats have shown in the last phase of their reign. In the beginning, it wasn't that bad. But in the last few years, we have found them to be totally, we found Kamala Harris, the presidential candidate, not even India throughout the campaign. She has an Indian origin. And most importantly, Uday, the entire Senate knows importance of India. No country in the world at this point can ignore importance and significance of India. If America runs today, it runs on Indian minds. The entire IT system in America can collapse if you take the people of Indian origin out of America. And this is a truth which has been accepted by a lot of American think tanks. So I think the comment of the Republican senator is just coming at the right time. It's very prudent. It's very rationalistic. And this is not biased towards Modi government or biased towards probably the NDA government or biased towards India. This is a very rationalistic comment. And I think the outgoing administration, we've got probably a few days left, a couple of weeks left before the reign changes. I think they should refrain from doing all this, as been rightly commented by the Senator Uday.
All right, let me in fact quickly get in Sumit Peer, a political commentator, onto the broadcast as well now. Sumit Peer, as far as, of course, now this big statement is concerned, what do you make of what Lance Gooden has said? At the end of the day, has he hit the nail on the head? And what will be the fallout, the ramifications of this big statement?
Well, thank you very much for having me on your show. When you look at US, there was a statement I want to make. The Democratic Party is a cesspool of deep state today. That is what it is. That is how you sum it up all. Today, it is the deep state who is telling Democrats what to do. It's not the other way. Today, it's the deep state who is dictating the terms. Today, it's the deep state who is telling them what the hell to do. Today, if you have George Soros being awarded as the highest medal of honor in the country, you have Hillary Clinton being given as her highest medal for Benghazi. I think her biggest achievement in her life has been Benghazi, how she got American and the American ambassador slaughtered. That is the biggest achievement. So all these people who have all the nefarious reputation in the world, they are getting the medals. Now look at Soros getting the medal because Soros is saying, look, I am dying. I am 95, 94. I have been your loyal soldier for all my life. I need a medal. Chhati pe medal lagao. I worked for you. I became an animal. I became a Jew who is not allowed to enter Israel because of you. I traded off Jews. I have sold anything and everybody. I have traded everything of my life, my character. So I am going to die, man. I want a bloody medal on my chhati. I'm sorry for using not a proper word. I need a medal on my chhati. And you have to give me Joe Biden because you pardoned your son. You let all the perpetrators go. Hillary Clinton said, bhai, ab to rajniti khatam ho gayi. What I have done fantastically well in Benghazi, give me a medal for that. So it is today because Biden pardoned his son that everybody is saying, when you could pardon your son, isko bhi medal de, isko bhi de, isko bhi de. So he doesn't know what he's doing anyway. He's in a perpetual state of dementia. And, whatever. So I don't want to get into the medical condition. Now what you're seeing here is that people of America, even the politicians of America, ati ho gayi hai. The water has gone up on our nose. They're saying, what the hell is happening? You people are not bothered about the Islamists. You people are not bothered about the CCP. You people are not bothered about Chinese police stations. 172 Chinese police stations today are active in United States of America. You are not bothered about what Trump said. 70,000 able-bodied CCP PLA members entered China, men and women. You're not bothered about now. You're not bothered about the drug cartels. You're not bothered about the highest drug consumption. You're not bothered about the highest consumption of antidepressant and anti-acids in the world. You're not bothered about your failing company, your country. You're not bothered about every minute, second, you are adding $100,000. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. This is how America is increasing their debt. And what is your Department of Justice doing? They are going after nobody. They have found a person called Mr. Gautam Adani because he's related to Prime Minister Modi and BJP. You are trying to run. If I was him, I will be direct and telling him you are running political extortion. This is political extortion. You are using your power, your stature, because you also know कि यार देखो उदय भाई, 12 दिन की सरकार है, 12 दिन की सरकार, 12 days government. 12 दिन की सरकार में whatever you want to do, anyway I'm hanging my boots and leaving, so let me take a hinge on him, let me take a hint on him. This is extortion what they are running. Department of Justice is running extortion because your deep state and your vested interest and your friends in China are really making you do what it is. Now, I used to always question one thing. What is Alex Soros doing 14 times visit to White House? What is Huma Umaddin's role? Huma Umaddin's father is Pakistani, mother is Middle Eastern. Why did Saudi Arabia pay $20 million for her to be Hillary Clinton's campaign manager? And what is she doing with George Soros? Why has she become his best girlfriend? Oh, he has a lot of them. Why is he the best girlfriend? Though she is Muslim and he's a Jew. So when you look at all those things happening, Uday, this person has, it is that, finally a voice of reason and logic is coming because they are tired of this drama. And I was seeing a video when Justin Trudeau resigned, Canadians were clapping. And remember me, on 20th January, exactly same thing is going to happen. Today it's anybody's business. Tomorrow, if they come and give Xi Jinping the highest civilian honor in America, sir, don't be surprised, ye bhi ho sakta hai. Xi Jinping can get the highest civilian honor in America. That's what the senator is saying. Hey, you should be bothered about CCP. You should be bothered about Chinese stealing your technology. You should be bothered about 1.5 crore illegals who have entered here. You should be bothered about the drugs, those weapons which are entering here. You should be bothered about the Islamist threats which are there. You should be bothered about ex-US sergeant, ex-US army man, 42 year, going and rapping a car and killing people. You should be worried about that radicalization which has crept into your society, and he was from Afghani origin. You should be worried about the kind of attacks which are happening in Germany. And out of that, you have left everything and you are going to India, 10,000 miles away, and trying to find a gentleman called Gautam Adani, because Adani Gujarati, Modi Gujarati, Adani Modi BJP, and then you are tabalchis. I will call them tabalchis here, and world over will start doing the tabla. Are pagda pad, are dekho, na, अरे भाई ड्रामा की भी हद होती है. I mean, you should have called it, stop this crappy drama, yaar. Call it a day. We are sick and tired of this rhetoric. I think Americans have given up on this government. They are just holding for 12 days. 12 din kayamat ke. That is what is left in America.
Okay, Gautam Mukherjee, in fact, a senior journalist, also is live with us now. Gautam Mukherjee, of course, this is a big statement being made by a US congressman. Will the US pay heed? How will the US react to this statement? Particularly, will members of the outgoing administration, change after what they've just heard?
Well, one of the good things about America is when a president leaves, so does his entire staff. There is a complete change of guard at the administrative level, at the political appointment level, right up to the top, and pretty far into the depth of the administration. They also, the Republicans, have a narrow edge in Congress and in the Senate, which is how they got their speaker elected with 2 votes. There is a massive course correction in the works. The exposure of what Biden was up to. We've always said that he was pro-Pakistan. He kept giving them money. He kept giving them F-16s. We always thought he was pro-China because his son had a lot to do with it. He had a lot to do with them. He's obviously encouraged the deep state to bring about regime change in Bangladesh. There is now quite a lot going on. The Arakan army is trying to create a state of its own, which could affect both India and Bangladesh. Canada has turned turtle because of what Trump has done. He has told them that, look, I will force you to join the United States as a 51st state by placing economic pressure on you. Now, what's happening here is he's sick and tired of the fact that America is supporting Canada's security, is subsidizing its trade. And what does it get in return? Chinese presence in Canada working against America. You've got Panama being run by the Chinese. He's said, look, I'm going to take over Panama Canal. It was meant for the Panamanians, not for the Chinese to threaten us on our doorstep. You've got Greenland, which he also plans to take over because of the security implications. He wants to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. I mean, these are major signals. Whether he does every one of these things in the letter of it or not is not the point. The point is the world is changing. It is good for India because many of our bugbears are being cleaned up by Trump because they happen to coincide with things that annoy him. He wants to destroy the deep state. George Soros getting the Congressional Medal of Honor. I mean, how naked can you be? You know, you gone and done that when India's been complaining about George Soros, its contribution to the open society. Open society is not just, after India. They have been working with the media, the established media, planting stories, calling themselves experts with regard to Ukraine and completely slanting the narrative. Ukraine is a mess. Ukraine is a corrupt country which has absorbed a lot of money from America. Where that goes round robin, we don't know. We will find out once Trump actually takes over. You've got similar things happening in Israel and the Gaza. He has indicated that, you stop this hostage business to Gaza or else I'm going to do something about it. It's the same in Iran. I mean, there is going to be a large number of geopolitical changes. In addition to economic changes, he's got Musk. Melania says Elon Musk is very good at babysitting Trump. That's one way to put it, but I think Elon Musk is going to do something about this massive debt and the way it's accumulating at an alarming rate. This is all over. I mean, 12 days, like Sumit just indicated, we can hold our breath. But the point is, look at how deep the rot is in America and how much work Trump has to do and how little actually they've accomplished with all this. They'll get off Adani's back for sure. In addition, they'll get off Trump's back because the same New York State is after Trump on all sorts of trumped up charges from quite a few years ago. So we can look forward to a supportive environment. He will not do things for India specifically, but he will do things for America which will benefit India. As far as Biden is concerned, he's history already, and it's just a matter of a few days. Uday.
All right, let me quickly, in fact, also go back now to Ambassador Bhashpati Mukherjee. Ambassador Bhashpati Mukherjee, at the end of the day, of course, this is a big castigation of the outgoing Biden administration as well by a congressman. At the end of the day, of course, he has his affiliations to the Republicans, but still, this is a mirror that is being shown, and perhaps this can be now a chorus in the US if more people speak out and speak up.
Definitely, more and more people will speak up. Even there are even Democrats who are speaking up, because honestly, as my co-panelists have pointed out, the nadir of the Biden administration was reached when Soros got that medal. It was actually so unethical, such a wrong thing to do, such a wrong signal going to country like India. They want India to ward off the Chinese menace in the Indo-Pacific. They want India to follow them like a little lamb, but at the same time, they bring about regime change in Bangladesh. They are insensitive to our core national interests, and they reward with a medal the man who has tried to bring about regime change in India before our elections, and who has, as Gautam rightly pointed out, tried to plant false narratives which are completely against freedom of the press, which is such an important part of American democracy, not just about India, but about so many other countries. And about India, such false narratives about how we treat our minorities, what life is like in India, how poor people live in India. It is such a distorted narrative that people believe because they have been put in very important media outlets, etc. And there are people in the media, particularly in the West, who are very naive about India. So he has done enormous damage for which he is rewarded by a medal. So I think, yes, like my other colleagues, I am counting the days 12, 11, 10, 9, etc. until we come to D-Day and we come to the inauguration. Never ever has such a large country like India given such a huge approval rating to an incumbent US president as India has to Donald Trump. I think he probably has a popularity base here which is as much or higher than what he has in the United States.
Still with us, Gautam, let me quickly come back across to you, on of course the points that the congressman has raked up about what the real focus of the US should be it of course the CCP, be it other issues like their economic espionage, and of course also violent crime. Now, why isn't the US focusing on that instead?
Well, what Biden has done or not done is now fairly irrelevant. But I think the the congressman is setting the stage for what is to come. This kind of thing will not be tolerated, and a lot of changes will be made. If you notice, the very prosecutor who framed the charges against Adani is stepping down before Trump takes over. He doesn't want to be questioned as to how he picked this up from just news reports and so on, and strung a daisy chain of accusations without any proof. It's the same. It's the Trudeau effect. And that is what you're doing. Trudeau is very good at making allegations without, and Trudeau has dared to say that there is not going to be a chance of a snowball in hell of Canada joining. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of people in Canada who'd rather be Americans. I mean, I think it's quite an attractive offer, and they should take it, because otherwise they're broke and will stay broke. So I do think there will be a lot of changes, economic, political, geopolitical, and this gentleman is laying down part of a very large agenda of change.
Uday, can I make a small point?
Back in. Go ahead.
Uday,
then I'll get into Dr. Kohli as well. Yes.
I have a very good question for Department of Justice. If the person who's still in office before Trump takes on, there is a US citizen called Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. Bhai, usko dhondo. Why don't you go after him? He's threatening the Prime Minister of India, he's threatening everybody and everybody, he's threatening 1.4 billion people. Your FBI, your CIA, your all the law enforcement and Department of Justice put together cannot get hold of that one little mouse who's running here and there. And around 10,000 miles across the seas, you are interested in one of the richest men in the world and one of the esteemed industrialists of the India. If this is not political extortion, if this is not motivated, if this is not malicious, what else is it? That is the question the people of America should ask their Department of Justice. Is American taxpayer dollar for political extortion being used? Is this the new law of Democrats that you are doing hired political extortion? I call it. You're a hired gun. Pakistan is a hired gun. You are people who are hired for political extortion. Is this what is happening? That is the question which Americans should ask.
Okay, let me in fact quickly go to Dr. Kohli for a last word, and also Dr. Kohli on, of course, at the end of the day, how Gooden says that this could have hampered India-US ties, but still the Biden administration decided to go ahead with it.
Well, simply because Biden administration wasn't really worried about an outgoing administration really wasn't worried about what's going to happen. They wanted to leave America in a mess for Trump. That was a clear agenda, which I think the Republicans have pointed out clearly. I think as far as Soros' medal is concerned, the medal was given to get the sorrow out of Soros, because I think all the sorrow that he had collected all this while, they probably gave him the medal. Maybe he can keep the sorrow away for some time. And the name of the attorney who's pulling out, his name is Brian Peace. I think he wanted to buy peace, because later on, had the new administration come, he would have been under fire definitely. So I think he came true to his name. But having said that, a quick closing remark, Uday. President Trump, for all the good things that we are talking about, we must also remember that he can sometimes be very unpredictable. A recent remark that we are going to levy reciprocated tariffs on India if they continue to do so. So I think we can just hold back from feeling very happy about our thoughts being echoed by the senators in the US. We must hold back for some time, wait and see, because President Trump, for whatever I know, I've seen him over the last 10 years, he's very, very unpredictable. So, you might see the tables turning soon, but for the time being, a very, very welcome news coming. And I hope the rest of the Senate feels the same way as Mr. Gooden has said, and the entire American thought process goes on that line, is what I would like to say as a closing remark, Uday.
All right. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. We've run totally out of time. My thanks to our viewers as well for watching. Let's quickly slip into a break.